in my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did this on my own. You asking where we been, I don't know where to begin.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tech Talk / Fangs Out podcast / interview video show / whatever I particularly feel like it being at this point in time. You know me, I'm Wade Nobilio, and I hope you know my homie Jimmy Barnett over here. He is letting us use his studio today, as you can tell from all of the dope Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle swag that you see everywhere. A little bit about Mr. Barnett is he is a gym owner / podcaster / gamer / best person you'll probably ever meet in your entire life. Without a doubt, the second prettiest bald man in this room right now. And he's a great friend of mine, man. He owns Tech Center here in Eastman, Georgia. So if you are around here and you're wanting to train striking, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, whatever it may be, bro, the homie will hook you up. He is also diving into one of my favorite realms of expertise, which is personal development and just becoming a better person in general. Jimmy, my guy, what up, though?
What up? I appreciate you having me on your podcast, with my podcast, I guess.
Yes.
I've never done like a 2-in-1, so this is my first time.
It's dope. It's going to be 2-part. I think that's how we're going to run it. We'll do 2-part.
How does it feel being my first time, Wade?
Oh my God, it feels so good. God, it feels good. Oh, Jimmy, no. Okay. Yeah. If you can't guess what I just did, then you're probably not old enough to watch this show.
Yeah.
No, man, dude, I'm stupid happy. So the first time I even announced and started talking about what I was doing, I was sitting in this chair and we were doing Tech Talk with Coach Jimmy. And I was, talking about doing my podcast and whatnot, man, and what it was going to be about in a little bit. And you let me plug it on here. So I think it's pretty cool that I get to come back here now that I'm a couple episodes in. I've talked to some cool people and I get to come back to my roots and we get to introduce the world to Nate.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to meet the editing genius that is Nathaniel Kaysen. Nate, what's your business's name? I can't remember the name of it. I'm sorry, buddy. What you ended up going with?
Kaysen Visual Productions.
Kaysen Visual Productions. So if you like all the dope quality that you see on my show in general, then you're going to love anything that Nate's got to do for you. So for realsies, go hit him up if you got graphical stuff you want done, because my boy's like a genius.
Not to mention, this dude helped me with my camera setup for, I went and recorded the entire seminar. That it was Brandon McCatherine, Boogie, Richie Martinez.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Gio, and then Nathan Orchard.
Yeah.
I wirelessly recorded that thing with my setup, the Mars 300 and all that.
Yeah.
Nate's the one that was like, no, this is what you need. This is what you need.
Yeah, dude.
He hooked me up, and I've used that stuff so much. At our, we got a tournament that we do for kids. It's called Strange Matter Invitational.
Right.
And it's a sub only for kids. And that's what I use. I just come up here to the studio, start up my computer, plug that thing into the HDMI port, go downstairs and walk around with a camera. Mm-hmm. And I have a little Rode mic Go that's plugged into the camera.
What?
And then that's my audio. And I'm just holding a camera.
That's dope.
Watching everybody compete. And it's just point and play. It's
sick.
Perfect. And it's wireless.
Is it one of the swivel heads too?
Oh yeah, gimbal.
Yeah, the gimbal stick or whatever. Dude, the first time I saw that thing was at Steven's tournament, and it was when Nate was doing the visuals for that. When Steven was running one of his Mid-South Classics, and I was sitting there and I thought it was the craziest looking thing in the world, man.
I have the same exact setup that Nate was using, and it's funny because originally I had what was it? What was the original one I had? You tried to help me set that thing up.
Dude, you hit a DJI and had the most issues with that thing I have ever seen anybody on the planet have.
I had a DJI, like a SC or something.
Like a Ronin or something.
A Ronin, yeah.
Oh
that's what it was. I could not remember the name of it.
Those things are trash.
Bro, that thing would the slightest little offset thing, that thing would go to like shaking and
Like,
moving.
It hit the death shake bad.
And I could not. And man, I tried for about 3 days, and then I was like, Nate,
Nate, come help me.
Nate, will you come help me with this? And he come here and he was like, oh yeah, all you gotta do is this and this and this. And he got it to work.
Saying, dude.
He got it to work, but then like if you do that, it would go, it'd start like buzzing while it was on there. And he's like, I don't know.
Right.
But he got it to work 10 times better than I could.
Dude, I argue with Nate all the time too. So this is a process that me and Nate go through, and this is probably one of my favorite parts about my relationship with Nate is he's smarter than me when it comes to a lot of things, and I don't like listening to him, right? Like I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with Nate where it's just like, man, yeah, I hear you, but like I want to do this, and he's just like, listen, man, what you're wanting to do is stupid, and it's gonna end up with crappy quality. What I'm saying is the economical and cheaper version to do it. The case in point, right? So I was wanting to do like a personal vlog, right? And I like just something like off the hip so I could start talking to people about the random crap that I think about during the day, you know? And I was talking to Nate about how we could set it up, right? And he was just sitting there and he's like, man, you know, I know you want this $120 camera. He's like, but it's trash and the quality is going to be terrible and you have nowhere that you can mount it. Oh, and by the way, there's no microphone that's going to be like able to work with it. So it's just going to be off of the camera sound quality unless you want to get a ghetto little shotgun mic, right? And I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, yeah, but it's like $120 and all these people on Google are saying that it's a good thing. And he's like, these people on Google don't know shit. I know what I'm talking about. Stop arguing with me. And that's it.
Dude, it's funny because like I pride myself on like knowing.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
It's like
I know, damn it.
I research and research and research. Like we was talking earlier about computers and stuff. I don't know about it, but if it's something that I may need or like I think is going to be better, like look at my podcast setup. I research and research and research. I had the Rodecaster Pro before anybody even knew what it was.
Right.
Everybody else was using like Behringers or however you say it.
Right.
And like those, yeah, everybody was using those and like the new ones with the Bluetooth and all this. And I'm like, no, Rodecaster.
This is the way.
This is the way. And when I couldn't get a gimbal to work, this was my first time ever messing with a gimbal, but everybody was like, DJI is the standard. And I was like, okay, DJI is a standard. And then I got it.
And it was crap.
And I watched Nate put his little, it's a Weeble.
Yeah, it's a Chinese Zhihun or something. I'm probably like messing that way up. But yeah, it's a Weeble S and it's so much smaller.
Yeah, and it has like places for 2 handles. It's smaller. You can buy like sets of batteries that's not built into the handle. Like there was a lot going on with it, but he just went and he was ready to record. And I'm like, wait a minute. It takes me like an hour and a half to set up this fucking SC and then it still death shakes. Yeah. What brand do you got? And he's like, oh, it's a Weeble Zone S or whatever. And I'm like, well, I want that one. And he's like, yeah, I've never had any trouble with it. And dude, I bought that thing. I sent the other one back to Amazon.
Right.
I bought that thing. It took me 20 minutes to set it up completely. And now I can just pop my camera off my desk, pop it off, and pop it onto that. And it's like, I'm 5 minutes. I'm shooting video.
I'm saying, dude, like when you listen to Nate, life just gets a lot easier for some reason, you know?
But I did not know anything about gimbals, how they worked. Like, I didn't know how to use them. And I watched hours and hours and hours of YouTube, and everybody's like, go with DJI. Go with DJI.
Dude.
And then I get around somebody that actually does the work. And like even what's his name? Isaac.
Isaac, yeah.
He uses the DJI. Even he uses DJI, and he like does this shit every day.
Yeah.
And then I got around Nate, and he had like this Chinese Zahunan, or
Dude.
whatever it's called, like Zhyun or some shit like that.
Something, yeah.
I
What's
think.
really funny is like everybody always makes the joke that like with Google and YouTube you can pretty much figure anything out. And this is something that I'm learning, especially since I'm in college now, is yeah, you can learn pretty much anything from like Google and YouTube and whatnot, but you're not learning like the best. You're not learning like the cutting edge or what's like the best for your field. You're learning what someone else has figured out. And if you give a person enough time, right, on a long enough timeline, he can do anything.
I agree.
And I feel like having someone that has like legitimate expertise is always what you should go with. Like the do-it-yourself jobs, like don't get me wrong, if you can do it and you can do it to where the quality's where you want it to be, bro, by all means go do it. Because like we were talking about earlier, you're doing it for free. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And the one of the biggest rules of business I've ever learned is, you need money to run a business. So you should probably save where you can, right? General concepts everyone can understand. And just like sometimes though, especially when you're talking about like podcasting and you're watching videos, because I've watched other people's like YouTube channels and stuff like that when they've just started getting off the ground, and I'm actually really proud to say that like the quality that I have is way above the maturity range of this podcast.
Dude,
You know what I'm saying?
dude, I'm telling you, I think it was your first podcast. I think it was your very first one. I'm like, oh, dude, he released it, and I messaged you. I watched it, and I was like, dude, move your fucking camera.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes.
I've done a lot of research about videos and stuff because I do the Coach Jimmy _tech,
Mm-hmm.
and I started everywhere. But before I ever released my first one, most important thing is sound.
Right.
Then it's your lighting. Then it's
Yeah.
your camera.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're doing like a blog type deal or even a podcast thing, you need an eye level. That way you can connect.
Yeah.
And if you're like looking up somebody's nose or looking down at their forehead, it's not a good thing.
Mhm.
The thing that I want to do now, I haven't done it yet. You can even see it behind me right now. What I want to do now is I want to get some really good backing stuff that kind of sets the podcast apart, because that's where I'm slacking at now is like aesthetic or whatever. That's why I was looking at in video broadcast, like that broadband,
Getting
whatever.
the backgrounds and stuff
Yeah,
like
getting
that.
it blurred or like either blurring the background. I tried putting the LED lights to kind of change the lighting behind you to separate you from the background. I thought about like just getting those. They have these things that mount to the chair. They strap to it, and it
Mhm.
puts a green screen behind your chair.
Right.
And then you can like chroma key everybody with a nice, neat looking backdrop
For
instead of
sure.
having this. I feel like as far as my podcast goes, everything looks amazing. It sounds amazing. The background is the next thing.
The next quality of life improvement.
But bro, it's expensive to like change and like have a good looking aesthetic background.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about like getting what are they called? The things that you move, pallets. I thought about getting some pallets and like painting them and just kind of like putting them on like in the back, like in certain ways.
I feel you. So like they set up behind the person or something like
Yeah.
that, and what the camera's looking at, it's the person, then it's the backdrop that you have built for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I feel you on that.
I thought about doing stuff
that'd
like
be-
that.
that would be
because-
dope, man.
But when I seen it, I did a lot of research about videos and how to become successful with videos. I've done a lot of research about podcasting, and that's why I'm so excited. Like, Google, you can learn from. YouTube, you can learn from. The thing is when you start doing it, you're gonna run into things that the people that are telling you about it on YouTube, they don't know, like they don't understand. My next step for this up here was getting a Elgato Wave XLR,
Yeah.
the Wave XLR,
Mm-hmm.
and I was gonna unhook the Rodecaster Pro from the computer. It's not gonna be connected to the computer anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna take the headphone out on that, or the front out for the listener on the Rodecaster Pro,
Mm-hmm.
and run that into the Wave. I was gonna buy an adapter and put it in the XLR, and then run the aux cord into the back of that adapter. That way you can control every sound through the software of the Elgato Wave.
Right.
I wish I could just get their software and just use it.
Yeah.
But you can't. You have to have that little thing with a dial. So, but you can control what you're hearing, and you can control what the stream is hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Different things, and then you can set them in place so when you adjust them, they automatically adjust, and you have zero setup for your stream. Like zero setup. You just come in, turn it on, and then you can control how loud the music is playing on your stream versus how loud it is in your headset.
Dudes, like people don't understand how useful having and I know we're talking a lot about podcasting right now, but this is like mine and Jimmy's thing right now, so you guys are just gonna have to bear with it. Trust me. But dude, it's true. Like little quality of life improvement stuff like that, it really makes a world of difference when it talks about when you're talking about what's aesthetically appealing to people, because everybody, I mean, most people can't appreciate the work that comes behind actually doing like a podcast or like talking to people in general. This is a skill, bro. Like people do not understand how much me and you talking right now is an actual skill, because who was I interviewing at one point?
You don't got to name drop them. You can just say someone I was in.
Yeah, there was this individual that I was interviewing that was like incredibly nervous the entire time, and it was like literally pulling teeth with them because they were camera shy. They didn't feel comfortable and whatnot. And this is something like I put this on the internet for the world to see. And that's something that I think really hits people whenever the camera and the lights and stuff like that are on them. And they're just like, oh my God, anything that I say right now, it's for the internet. It's forever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
They hit you with that look like.
And as soon as I saw that look in their eyes, bro, I instantaneously knew I'm not going to lie. I knew it was going to be like a rough interview. And dude.
He didn't even switch the camera to me. So I was just looking at you stupid. I was like,
that's
and he never switched it to me, so I'm just sitting over here. He looks at you like this, and then you've seen it, and you're talking about it, but they don't see it, so they don't even know.
Deer in the headlights look, people. If you're talking to somebody live and they give you that deer in the headlights look, cuz I promise you, you're in for a rough day.
I love it. I do think it's a skill, and I'm actually one of those people that I struggle with. Not acceptance, but like I always feel like I'm that oddball.
Mm-hmm.
And early on, when there's silence, I would feel awkward, so I would have to fill the silence by speaking and saying something. And now I'm trying to hone back on that and like realize that it's okay for it to be quiet sometimes.
Yeah, dude.
And
that's a life skill right there, like being comfortable in silence.
Care Bear, Kara.
Koala Bear.
Yeah, she was on the podcast this week. I haven't released it yet.
What?
Yeah, I got her on here, and she did awesome, by the way.
I bet, dude. I can't wait to have her.
But we were talking about one of the things that I've been focused on for probably, it's been a while. I can't put a date on it because it has been focused for a while. Like I've watched tutorials. I've looked at psychiatrists, like, talking about it. Communication.
Yeah, dude.
I think that a lot of times communication is hard, and the reason it's hard is because the idea that I have in my mind and the things that I'm saying isn't necessarily what you're receiving.
Yes.
And I think that was one of my hugest problems as a coach, is because sometimes people be like, what? And then I would repeat exactly what I said in the same way that I said it.
Yeah.
And I'm like in my mind, like, what aren't you getting?
Mm-hmm.
But then I when I had an aha moment.
Yeah.
I think I said it with Kara Bear, Kara.
Kara.
I don't know what you call her. What do you call her?
Man, I have so many different nicknames for Kara. It's ridiculous. It's Koala Bear, Bully Bear, Care Bear.
I called her Care Bear joking one day in here, and that kind of stuck. But then you called her Koala Bear, and I was like, oh shit, maybe everybody calls her something different.
I started with Care Bear, but there was one time when I was watching her roll that she took someone's back, right? And she's a smaller female, so I saw her on like this bigger individual's back, and it just looked like a little baby koala bear trying to strangle someone.
We have a game we call Koala Bear, and it's stay on the mama's back.
I'm saying, dude.
Yeah. So anyway, we was talking to each other, and I said this to her. Taylor and I was at home, and this is called a trust fall, but you pop people's back this way. Like
What?
if you've ever had like this, I go to a chiropractor regularly, and I have this thing in between my shoulder blades and across here where my muscles are super tight, and it actually causes me to have tension headaches. And even the chiropractors, I've been to like 4, they cannot give me any relief in between my shoulder blades around my neck, at the base of my neck. They pop my neck and it feels good, but it still has this constant pulling, I guess because my muscle's real tight right here, whatever. But I found a way to trust fall, and it pops that spot in between, and it realigns that, and then the muscle immediately releases.
Right.
And I can do it for everybody else, but I haven't found anybody that could do it for me. And I kept telling them, no, you got to let me fall. Right?
Right.
And so it's basically like a full Nelson where you take and put your hands on your head. The person comes under your armpits, and then they cuff their hands over yours. Now, they don't lace their fingers because that'll hurt them. It's just like jiu-jitsu. They lace their hands like this in the back end, like a 10-finger guillotine, over the top of your hands. And now you, if you're getting your back popped, pull your elbows forward so it's a little tight. Not super tight, but a little tight. And then you just fall. Now, the thing is the person behind you has to let you fall, and then right before you, like, break plane,
they snap.
They stop you.
Right.
And they catch you. And that catch sends this little jerking motion, not a jerk, not a snatch, but like a stop. And it just pops your back all the way up. And it feels amazing. And, man, I was telling her, like, I needed it. I was hurting. I had a headache. Like, my whole shoulders were tense. And I'm like, please try. And she was trying to do it. And I'm like, just let me fall. Well, what she was doing is she was, like, getting under me and being a support beam for me. And then she was, like, walking me backwards. So I was just, like, falling backwards. Like, she was trying to lay me down.
Right.
And I'm like, no. You need to let me fall.
Okay.
And she's like, I am letting you fall. I'm like, no, you're holding me up and laying me down. I'm letting you fall. I'm like, no.
Maybe just let me go one time.
I'm like, just let me fall and then catch me. That's what I'm doing. I'm like, you're not letting me fall.
Right.
And so, like, we have this heated, like, let me fall. I'm frustrated because I'm saying that over and over and over. And I'm like, no, you're not listening. Just let me fall. And she's like, I'm just letting you fall. I'm sorry if I made her sound like she was a little slow, because that's how I felt. So I sounded like, just let me fall. And she was like, I am letting you fall. You know what I'm saying? Yes. And finally I said, you know what? So like 2 weeks, dude. 2 weeks went by, and I was like, you know what? I was like, can you please try this again? And she was like, no. Because we fought every time. I'm like, I got an idea. She grabbed me, and I was like, all right, I want you to step back and level change and then stand up. She stepped back, level changed, and stood up. My back went, and I got some relief, and my headache went away. So I had a headache for like 2 weeks, and she done it. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, why didn't you do that to begin with? Like, I was just relaxed and like drunk feeling because my headache went away. And I'm like, why didn't you do that to begin with? She said, why didn't you tell me to level change to begin with? And I was like, well, because technically you're not supposed to level change, but that's the only way I could get you to remove yourself from the equation to get me to just let me fall down.
Right.
And to this day, she don't understand just let me fall, but she understands the level change. It's not the same.
No, it's not.
It's really not the same, but it works enough that it could give me that snap for the relief. And then I was like, okay, I realized that there's a huge problem with the way that I communicate. Like a huge problem. And if I can't put an analogy with something
right
for you to be able to understand it, then I'm not a good communicator. And And then I was like, you got to put a dead weight on them like you do when you're in wrestling. Just let me put all my dead weight and you not stop me until a snap, like a snapping point. And I'm still trying to explain it to her. But then I started realizing that a lot of times what you're saying and what someone else is hearing is probably, it could be the same, but it could be completely different. And those people's experiences and the things that they dealt with in life, how they interpret that is going to be, well, like based off their experiences and stuff. How they
Yes.
interpret what you say is going to be based off of their experiences instead of what you really say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I even had this happen to me about a closet at the house this week, and I got mad and I was screaming at the contractor and the owner, not on purpose, but they had this condescending sound towards me.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember as a kid, when I was growing up, I didn't have any power. For a
Yeah.
long time, we didn't have power.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was taking care of my mom who had lupus.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was taking care of my little brother. And then I had a sister that just got pregnant, 14, fixing to be 15 years old,
Mm-hmm.
against my, like, why is he here type attitude.
Yeah.
Like, there was a lot going on. And I'm the sole breadwinner. You know? Like,
Yeah.
I was working, I was going to school. I'm 12 years old, going to school, getting home and working till midnight. And then walking home, which was almost 3 miles. And then once I get home, shower, go to sleep, get up 4 hours later and go to school.
Dude, that is
And-
bonkers.
And then I would have teachers and people that had money that from positions of authority, like principals, teachers, shit like that. When I'm
Mhm.
tired or I'm frustrated because people are treating me a certain type of way, telling me,
Yeah.
you don't know about real life. When you get older and you get bills, then you can talk to me about life and stuff like that. And I'm looking at these people like, motherfucker, I'm toting water from a pond to put in a bathtub that's outside to build a fucking fire underneath a porcelain tub so that I can have a hot bath.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about your real life that you're talking about.
Real life
I'm
experiences.
I'm the only person that's able to get groceries and shit. Like, if it wasn't for food stamps, we wouldn't have ate a lot of times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then like phone bill, light bill, shit like that. Like, when I got to a certain point, I was the one doing all that stuff.
Mhm.
And you want to tell me I don't know about real life? Okay. And I was having this conversation about a closet, and I've done construction my whole life.
Mhm.
And then on top of construction, I've built shit. Like, yeah, like crazy shit, like cameras that shouldn't have shotgun mics in
Yeah,
them.
like
Yeah.
the ridiculous setup that you have in your gym right now. Yeah, the one that you showed us. Yeah,
Yeah.
trust me, I could go into detail about it, but just take my word for it when I say Jimmy Barnett is probably one of the most like ingenuitive people I will ever meet in my entire life.
Dude, I love stuff. Like, I had a computer that was completely submerged in oil, like a clear oil, and it
Yeah.
operated underneath it. It looked like it was in water. So I put a bubbler and shit in it so it looked like the computer was in water.
What?
Yeah, because oil don't conduct electricity. So like mineral oil, like the stuff that you give horses that help them have kids and are like just help them
Yeah.
with certain stuff, like baby oil.
Yeah.
It's the same stuff,
Mhm.
but you can get it for horses in huge bottles. And I filled up an aquarium and built this plate for the computer to be inside of it. And it looked like it was in water. Nobody's done shit like that. And like my camera set up for the gym recording, nobody does stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm looking at the problem, I'm like, okay, look, we can put it here. We can put it over here. And then it don't take up all this space and make this other space useless. Because
Right.
if we put it where y'all want to put it, there's going to be like 100 square feet of space that just becomes a hallway now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's stupid. And like, they were just acting like I wasn't talking. And then the look and the way everything felt, I internalized it. And it was just like the teacher looking at me, telling me, you don't know about real life. You'll learn one day, little boy.
Yeah.
And I just fucking snapped and I started yelling. And if it would have been a dude that acted and whispered what they whispered while I was standing there, I would have headbutted them in their face. That's how mad I was. And then I calmed, like I just left. Like I didn't say anything. My mom called me. I walked outside, answered the phone, and then I sat there for a minute and I was like, I wonder what the communication problem was and why I felt the way that I felt. And man, it sucked because I just become that person that I've been trying to fight for 12, 15 years. Like this is the person that I don't want to be.
Right.
And I become that person in that moment because of bad communication.
Yeah.
And I had to like really reflect on that and look at how everything's being interpreted, because everybody else in the room probably wasn't feeling the disrespect that I was feeling.
Yeah.
They probably didn't even realize how disrespectful they were to me.
For sure. Dude.
Because they were just having a conversation, but the way that conversation felt to me, it was like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, and this sounds very arrogant to say, usually any subject that you talk about, I know about.
Yeah, man.
Because I'm like computers. Like if you look at my setup, nobody taught me how to do this.
For sure.
Like my gym, this room, I built it. The floor that you're standing on, I built that.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of this, all of those, the office, the washer and dryer area, the sink area, like the plumbing, the electrical, I built all that. Everything in this gym is run through a breaker box that's run through Alexa inside the breaker box. I did all that. I didn't have anybody come in here and do it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like these lights, those little squares that you're seeing up there, I cut every one of those out, cut the circle for the light to fit, drilled a hole and built that, and then made them dimmable through Alexa. Like, Alexa, set the upstairs lights to 100%.
Whoa.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I did that, and nobody helped me.
Bruh.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
That's-
Alexa,
yeah.
set the lights back to 45%. Oh, shit. Cancel. Yeah. You got to say upstairs. Yeah, so, like, Alexa, set the upstairs lights to 45%. She might not listen now because she was waiting for a... Nope, there it went. But that's the thing is, like, I did that. Like, these lights are... These studio lights, they're Alexa. Everything in this gym, I can be at home, turn off or on. The air conditioner right there, I can turn it on and off. I wired all that up through the... I did every bit of it. Nobody taught me that. That closet... There was no closet there. I built that. That wall, there was no wall there. These stairs, I did it all.
Right.
And then for somebody to look at me and tell me that, like, when I tell them, like, no, you could just do this. No, you can't do that.
Right.
I'm looking at them like, motherfucker, don't tell me that I can't do it. I've done it already.
Right.
And it's like, when I was trying to figure out how to set up that shotgun mic and stuff through the cameras, and everything on the internet said, no, you got to get like a legit camera set up and stuff. Everything said no.
Right.
Everything said the camera that you have and the NVR that you have and all that, no, it will not work. And now I have it working. And not only do I have it working better than as if I had a camera with a shotgun mic with lights there. I don't know if you guys noticed, but like the lights are built in a square at front, and then they're long ways on the opposite side, because that's how you can turn the LED lights. They have shaders on the back side, so you can turn them to where the light isn't reflecting off your forehead. It gives you a good lighting. And I went that much detail to it.
Bald people problems.
Yeah. I went that much detail into it because lighting will make a bad camera look really good. Lighting will also make a really good camera look bad. It goes audio, lighting, video, or camera. You can take a cheap-ass Logitech plug-and-play camera, like a webcam. It says 1080p at 30 frames. You can take that bitch and set your lights up, and it'll look better than the Canon like the new the $5,000 Canon camera or the
Dude.
$10,000 Blackmagic camera.
Oh my
100%,
God.
yeah.
Listen, all right.
But anyway, that was my rant.
Let me complain about camera prices real quick, okay? Because cameras are legitimately like one of the biggest hindrances in my life for doing some of the stuff that I've wanted to do. Because for me, so when this really started to like take off and take form, I went from making good money to making a fixed income that was already pushing my budget line. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I had to make a lot of sacrifices so I could be in the spot that I'm at right now, right? And money was definitely one of them. So I was sitting there and I was thinking about what I had in my savings. I was thinking about what I was going to be spending in the future. And I was like, man, what's going to happen if I buy like an $800 or $900 camera right now, like me and Nate are talking about, or me and Jimmy are talking about? I'm like, if I buy this guy right now, this could be the difference between me and daycare for like a while. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So dude, cameras, like God, I want a GoPro so badly. Like I want like a Hero 9.
No, you don't.
So why?
The battery life sucks, and then it records everything in HVEC, and then it makes it extremely hard in the editing software to use.
All right, well, I guess a Hero 8 then.
If you actually, the best one is probably the 4 through 6, right?
Probably. I mean, you lose a little bit of image quality, but
Yeah.
codec and all issues is not nearly as
But
bad.
the codec stuff for that, I had an 8. I bought an 8, and then I bought like this chest thing and this head thing, so when I'm coaching, I can replay and watch what my guys that are competing, so that I didn't have to pay attention to it.
Mhm.
Like I could just coach, and I could see what I was seeing later and review it to help my guys.
Right.
And I wanted to actually talk to you about coaching and competing and stuff too. But I had that, and the problem that I was having is that it would get hot, and it don't matter how good your batteries are charged or how many batteries you have, it wouldn't get me through a complete tournament. I would have to go through 3 to 4 batteries in a tournament with my guys. And then the footage, I had to buy a HVAC thing for Windows to even look at it on Windows without it just plugging into the side of the camera.
Really?
And then when you move it from from that to like Adobe, which was what I was using back then, I'm not using Adobe anymore. I use DaVinci Resolve now.
Yeah.
But
Hold up. Never mind. We'll talk about that later because I have so many rabbit holes we could go down. I have 2 things that I want to hit on though.
I love DaVinci Resolve. I like it better than Adobe. It's just, I don't even use the paid version. I use the free version, and the coloring and the quality is so much better. And the learning curve was really easy because you can tell it that you are coming from Adobe, and it puts all the short keys exactly the way Adobe does. The only thing you have to learn is the bottom buttons with like your edit button, your Fairview button, your music light button. Like that's all you got to learn that's different. And so when I made the switch, it took me like 2 days to really get good with what I was
DaVinci?
doing. Yeah.
Right.
And it was beautiful. But the GoPro, I thought it was going to be amazing. I wanted one so bad. I bought the 8 right when it come out. And then there were so many freaking problems. The footage was skipping. It was like, it was lagging. The only way it would play back the way I needed it to play back was when you plugged it into the side of the camera and plugged the HDMI into the TV, or plugged it into the side of the camera, put it into the computer that way, and then downloaded that HVAC, whatever it was for Windows. It was only 99 cents. And it's yours. Excuse me, I got hiccups. It was yours forever, but it would play back perfect through there, but then you couldn't edit it. So what's the fucking purpose of having it? You could edit it. It just took twice as long as having a regular Sony camera.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel you. Well, that being said, screw getting a GoPro.
You're welcome.
Get an Osmo.
I'm not getting an Osmo, you dirty, dirty little whore. Quit trying to push that stupid thing on me.
Why don't you want an Osmo, bro?
Because it looks stupid. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's for any other reason than the fact that Osmo looks dumb.
Are you talking about the little handheld thing where, like, it
Yes,
looks like a robot?
man.
Yeah,
Yes,
the
it
little
looks
motorized
dumb
gimbal.
as all hell.
It
I'm
does.
not getting that thing, and I'm gonna break it because it's little, and I am probably one of the klutziest people you'll ever meet. So let me tell you exactly what's gonna happen with this guy. Right, I'm gonna have it in like my cargo pocket or in my back pocket at some point in time, and I'm gonna forget that it's there. And that thing's like $300. Okay, I'm gonna sit on it. I'm gonna smash it. I'm gonna break it, and then it's not even gonna be worth having anymore because it's gonna cost me however much to get it repaired or whatever. And no, I'm not messing with it, dude. I need a camera, like a whole camera,
Yeah,
not
dude,
like a
it's-
half a camera, a whole freaking
So,
camera.
funny story. Every time I hug people, like my family, because I always hug and tell them I love them before I leave,
Right.
I bear hug my stepdad. Like I bear hug I pop my brother's back. I just reach under their arms and I pop their back, and they love it.
Mhm.
I hugged my stepdad and squeezed him and like broke his glasses. The last time he has these glasses that he carries in his pocket. If he carries spare glasses, not a big deal.
Right.
Problem is like I done that. I broke his glasses. The same week that I broke his glasses, I broke the Osmo.
See, this is what I'm
Dang.
saying, dude.
Bear hugging.
No one wants, listen, and I'm going to throw my hate out now for two things, right? Number one, Kellogg's. Don't buy their cereal. You'll understand that joke in a little bit.
I don't understand the joke.
All right, so I'm going to explain this one because it's a great segue into something that I wanted to introduce today, right? So me and Nate have been dabbling a lot with graphic design, more so Nate than me. I'm just coming up with the backstory and the shenanigans for these things, right?
Team. Your
Yeah,
team.
exactly.
You're the idea guy. He's the implementer.
Yeah, Nate comes up with a lot of ideas himself, though. I'll say that he is an invaluable asset to everything that I'm doing, and I really do value his friendship and companionship greatly. But now that I've plugged Nate and my love for him, no, dude, we have been messing around with some graphic designs, and the mascot of my channel is a tiger, right? So we finally gave some life to our mascot, and I don't have any pictures, but I'm excited to formally introduce Jazzy the Tiger very soon. Jazzy the Tiger is going to be the mascot for our channel, and man, I'm super excited. He's going to have an enemy, right? And me and Nate were talking about this, and one of the enemies that I threw out was Tony the Tiger. Talking about how he's not a real tiger.
Oh, God, that is awesome.
So I was talking about just like having straight up hate mail for Kellogg's on the entire podcast and just trashing the cereal. And then it was just like, man, they've probably got lawyers and stuff that would eat us alive. And I'm just like, maybe we shouldn't use our podcast platform to trash cereal.
Hey, but no, I think you should. No, think about this. I really think you should. Here's the thing: if you get sued, so the first thing they have to do. Wait, no, listen. The first thing they have to do is send you a cease and desist order.
Right.
So if you hit their radar, and they send you a cease and desist order, you make a big deal about it. Like you say, oh yeah, they want to do this and this and this, right? Then all these reporters and all these other things is like Kellogg's is attacking a small podcast. Guess what? The next day you won't be a small podcast anymore. And all you got to do is stop attacking Tony. And then like now everybody's listening to your shit. Like that's a brilliant idea. You know what? Like I got to find somebody to be mad at.
Listen, I just wanted to let it be known that Jimmy, it's the best idea I've ever heard in my entire life. That actually is pretty brilliant. I'm not gonna lie. That hits a lot of really good marketing schemes. All right, Nate, let it be known now. It's dude. We need to do a cartoon death match between Jazzy and Tony the Tiger.
Man, you got to tell them a little more about Jazzy, because I mean they don't have the concept of what we talking
All right,
about.
so let me explain to you Jazzy's personality a little bit, right? Before you guys get to meet him, I'll give you a little background on him. So Jazzy the Tiger is mainly going to be everything that is like vegan, jujitsu, Just kind of like the douchier culture that you see amongst some artistic people nowadays. So a little bit more about him. He's an ovo vegan saber-toothed tiger that does not have saber teeth because he's not a full-blooded saber-toothed tiger. he's half saber-toothed tiger, half ocelot that was raised by a vegan tiger. He's pretty dope, dude. I'm not gonna lie. He's also big into personal development, right? He's a purple belt in jujitsu. He's been alive from what we know of, at least at this point, since 1902, right?
Earliest
dude.
So
documentation.
he's
1902.
what is it?
I said the earliest documentation.
The
is
earliest
1902.
documentation of Jazzy the Tiger has been found in the year 1902 when he met up with his homeboy Wallace Waddles and gave him the idea for the science of getting rich. So you can basically accredit all that is modern day self-help to Jazzy the Tiger. And he's pretty good people though, man. He really loves you and he wants you to do better with your life and to be the best version of yourself, you know? So I'm really excited to do an interview here in the future where you guys get to formally meet Jazzy the Tiger. We also have another one that I'm going to plug right now. His name is Felipe the Unicorn. Felipe the Unicorn, I'm not going to give you too much more on him, but just understand that he is fabulous. And
Fabulous.
you'll understand why that's so funny whenever you get to see Felipe the Unicorn and Jazzy the Tiger's interview with me here in the near future.
So are you going to do like you're just gonna be it's gonna be like you, like a cartoon version of you, or like a smaller version of you, like talking to them? Or?
So this is what I actually, after what you were talking about and what I had Nate talking about, I want to start playing around with NVIDIA a little bit and try to see if we can't make like like a room like this, right? But like an interview, like what you would see on like Brendan Schwab or Joe Rogan's podcast or something like that.
Dude, you know what would be really cool? You know how like I did background replacement?
Yes.
Y'all could just like have a circle desk, like just a desk, and you could be like sitting in the middle of the desk and just have it like the people like around you, and you could just be like talking to them.
Just talking to him and
It's
stuff.
like a round table, but you're
Yes.
sitting in the center of the desk.
the
like-
round table of self-development.
Yeah, like you're like a it's
Like,
like a,
Indian style in the middle of the table.
yeah.
yes,
just have you sitting
just
there.
chilling there talking shut up, Jazzy. Felipe, go to hell.
That's great.
Yeah.
I want to do I'm gonna like I just deleted all of my Coach Jimmy like underscore tech videos, like my self help, like the videos that I was doing, like talking to people about gym culture and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm gonna do like interviews, like you're talking about,
Mhm.
but mine are gonna be with like my character Tap Out Tommy.
Yes.
So I'm gonna be like talking to Tap Out Tommy. I'm like, man, like that was amazing. Did you see that takedown and how he did? And he's like, I'd just stand up. Like that guy.
Yes.
You know the
So
guy.
talk about the guy that jujitsu doesn't work on because it doesn't work in the streets.
Yeah, that guy that's like, oh, I just hit him with his country boy right hand guy.
Oh my
Or
god!
I'd
Yes.
just stand up and I'm just gonna
I
have
just see red, you know.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
just
everybody
red, bro.
I
and
black-
everybody goes down.
I blank out and everybody wait, when I come to, everybody's dead. There's just bodies everywhere. That guy.
Listen, so for those of you that don't fully understand what he's talking about, I'm going to let you guys in on a secret on why we that train actively probably make fun of this guy more than anybody else, because you will religiously see tough guys coming into gyms that think that they're like, you know, these undefeated street fighters and they're just really tough because they've beat up on drunk guys at bars and whatnot all the time. And it's just funny because everybody thinks like, me and Jimmy have actually talked about this before. Everybody naturally thinks that they know how to fight, but you have guys like us that have spent years of our lives training and doing this stuff, you know, like becoming a more adept and intelligent combatant, right? But that doesn't count for anything because you, the individual that has come and never trained a day in your life, is just going to come and piece me to death. And statistically speaking, in a fight, anybody's got a puncher's chance, bro. That I won't negate that one truth. But when you talk about logic and statistics, right? Statistically speaking, if you've never trained a day in your life, I'm going to break a bone in your body or I'm going to choke you out. And that's I'm not challenging anybody. I'm not trying to open up a can of worms or anything. I'm just saying that
Yes, he
I've
is.
been stop. Don't you do
Stop
that.
it. Don't you do that to my
because-
friend.
No, people that
He's
watch
gonna have a guy show up with a mullet. What'd you say,
What-
boy?
What'd you say, boy? Come and get this country boy problem.
I saw you on the Facebook.
I saw you on the YouTube talking about how you think you can fight, boy. And I just want you to know that I don't appreciate the way you making fun of us Southern folk.
I don't appreciate the way you challenge me individually.
Me personally.
Me
Dude, I will never, dude, and this is one thing about like ego that will never, like, I'll never fully be able to wrap my brain around, right? Because when people see themselves in you, right, that's when people start getting mad. That will, depending on what it is. So me and this girl Zoe were actually talking about this the other day, right? And this is something I've thought about for a long time. We only understand what it is we have interacted with in this world, right? That is the only possibility. It is kind of like how you were talking about perceiving things earlier. This is one thing I really wanted to segue into whenever you started talking about it, because this is a huge thought process for me. So think about this, right? Everybody experiences things differently, so they all have different perceptions of it, right?
The lenses.
Yeah, different lenses that they will see things through. I always say that perspective is the thing that I look for the most in this world, so I can understand where people are coming from, right? And what I've realized about a lot of people that have like super big egos, right? Whenever someone like Jimmy or Brent or somebody like that really knows how to fight starts talking about fighting, and they start,
You
picking.
put Brent in that category? Man, listen. With Brent, go ahead.
Dang.
No, I'm just playing.
I was about
Please don't kill me.
I was gonna say that's brave, because Brent Coleman, that's my coach in jiu-jitsu. And for those of you that don't understand, the nickname in the entire Divine affiliation is that he is a baby silverback gorilla, which is pretty accurate, because if you've ever seen the dude, he literally looks like a baby silverback gorilla. So Brent, I love you, and I put you in this category because we've made fun of these people together before.
I think he's a teenage.
a teenage silverback
He's not
gorilla.
a baby.
It depends on if he's bulking or
if he's giving it a little bit.
Yeah.
if he's bulking or cutting. That's really what it depends on.
I think he could take a baby.
I actually think he could beat a baby silverback gorilla.
I think
in
he
a
could,
fight.
but not like a teenager. That'd be a good fight.
That'd be a challenge for Brent. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
but a
saying?
full-grown
No,
one?
Brent
No.
didn't.
No.
Buddy,
Sorry,
I'm
Brent.
sorry. Even your quads can't take down something that massive and powerful.
Have you ever?
Let us know in
have
the
you-
comments what age silverback gorilla can Brent take down.
Yeah, please,
If you know Brent, please tell us what you think.
dude. That's great.
No, but like I was gonna say, man, communication and perspective are very important. And people that have egos, especially when they recognize like their own insecurities and flaws in what you're saying, that's when you'll realize a lot of people are getting mad. So this is my challenge to anybody that is in this stage of growth where they can rise above, right? Like when they see someone else talking about a negative flaw that they have, if self-development's your thing, then you'll be able to recognize and be like, hey, this is a part of who I am. This is something that I'm still working on, and it's okay. Like as long as you're trying and actively trying to grow from things, I really do plead with people to show like a form of self-love, right? And just like appreciate the path that you're on right now and becoming a better person. Now, at the same time, if you just get mad and you start telling people that you want to fight because someone's talking about something within yourself that you're insecure about, my challenge to you is to start thinking from the process of like, hey man, anger, I shouldn't be coming from a place of anger. I should be coming from a place of like, dude, I need to get my life together.
Yeah,
And
I need to stop wanting to headbutt people.
Okay, Jimmy, I'm not personally attacking you. I am not personally attacking Jimmy
Pew,
Barnett
pew.
right now.
Shots
because
fired right at Coach Jimmy.
Jimmy is probably
Dang.
one of the most conscious people when it comes. So one of the things I've realized, again, amongst people that are personal development junkies, right? Having like knowing yourself, right? And understanding who you are as a person, understanding your flaws and being able to own them, it's powerful because it's difficult. You're literally breaking down barriers that you've thrown up. Like for me, I know for like ego barriers that have been up my entire life that I have to like sit there and look at and be, man, this is a problem. How am I going to fix this problem? You know? And Jimmy talks about like battling with anger. I respect that because I do the same thing. And for him to be able to talk openly about it, bro, that should tell you how powerful of an advocate he is for becoming a better person and the best version of himself, which is why I respect the hell out of Jimmy, man, because he's a legitimately good dude. Look at that face. Nate, switch over the camera to him real quick. Look at that hand. Yeah, he trying to like mean mug and whatnot right now, but he just understand that when you see Jimmy 9 out of 10 times, it's going to be him smiling. So this angry person that he's talking about, that's really I'm not going to say he's dead, but he's not the person that you'll meet when you meet Jimmy. You'll meet probably what I see as like one of the best versions of Jimmy Barnett that you'll ever see.
Man, I appreciate that. And it does come from a place of recognizing and trying to be better.
Right.
Like the person that I was a year ago is not the same as now. And the thing that I'll say to people that are actually out there trying to recognize and get better at communicating, better at all of this stuff, is it actually starts with something small. I couldn't just stop being angry. Like I didn't just stop being angry one day.
For
I
sure.
still catch myself feeling that feeling and it building up. And I have to recognize it right away and go, all right, you're acting out of character right now. Like you're
Yeah.
you either need to separate yourself or you need to say, hey, give me a second, distance yourself, or whatever it is that you personally need to stop that interaction so that you don't make an ass of yourself. Because I'll tell you, there's been several times in my life that I have acted and I'm out of character.
Mm-hmm.
And I say out of character, it's within my character to act that way. When I get angry, nothing matters. Like when I hit that point that I'm ready to like die on this hill,
Mm-hmm.
nothing you say to me matters anymore. Like if somebody was like, this and this and this, I'll say whatever I say out of anger, and then I can't take it back.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that, well, words have a lasting effect. So if I say something to you that hurts you out of anger,
Mm-hmm.
even though I apologize, that's going to be there. You're always going to remember it. It's always going to say, I cannot take that back. And another thing about taking something back, for me, if I say I'm not going to do this because, or I am going to do this because, even if I don't want to do it, I just said it out of anger. Now I got to honor my word.
Yeah.
That's because that's who I am. I have to honor my word. And it sucks because sometimes I follow through with something that I completely disagree with. I just said it out of anger.
Yeah,
And-
and you feel like that the necessity, like you have to do it now,
Yeah.
just because you put your word to it.
Yep. And then, but then two things are happening there. I'm battling. Well, do I continue through with this because I said it? Which I want people to understand that if I say something, I mean it.
Mm-hmm.
I never want anyone around me to question my word.
Yeah.
So if I tell you something, you can take that shit to the bank. Like
Right.
if I say it, then it's either going to happen or it happened the way that I perceived it.
Right.
Like I'm never trying to mislead.
For sure.
So my yes is my yes and my no is my no.
Mhm.
Well, a part of that is when I get angry, even if I say something that I don't necessarily mean, it's like, fuck, now I got to follow through with it because I said this.
Mhm.
But I'm battling with myself. Okay, I said this out of anger, which is what I'm trying to defeat. I'm trying to defeat that person that gets angry and says shit just
Mhm.
to hurt people, or that says shit trying to pick a fight.
Yeah, dude.
And so, okay, I said this out of anger, but I said it. Do I backtrack and say, hey, I said this out of anger, I didn't really mean it?
Mhm.
now I'm not a man of my word.
And that,
Or do I let the anger win and do what I said I was going to do, even though I only said it out of anger? And that's the battle that I have with myself. Getting angry and then saying or doing things while I'm angry. That's the battle that I constantly have with myself because I'm trying not to get angry as much, and which I don't. I don't get there often because I recognize it and I realize it's a communication thing most of the time.
Mhm.
But when I get there and it happens, it's like, fuck, now what do I do?
Dude, I'll tell you what. So I'm going to segue into stoicism at this point.
Dude, I love
right?
it. Go.
So stoicism is like, first and foremost, I want to plug something right now and kind of just like nip it in the bud, right? Because I'm going to college right now, right? And a lot of my professors that I vibe with are social science professors, right? One in particular that I talk to on a very regular basis that has a very negative perception of stoicism, right? Because stoicism in today's culture, especially with some of the more liberally thinking people, and I'm not saying anything negative about liberals or anything like that, because I'm not a liberal, I'm not conservative, I am nothing.
Yeah, fuck
right?
all those guys.
Seriously,
All
I
of 'em.
hate that. I hate that shit more than anything, dude. Like my political views are very much so skewed from most people's. So don't ever think that I'm attacking the left or the right individually. I'm attacking both of you because you're both wrong. So
Same coin.
so with
It's the
that,
same coin.
it is, dude. They're all made.
It's a coin.
I'm not getting into that right now. We are 100% going to go back to my stoicism. My professor who said, like, he brought up his opinion on stoicism is the inability to show emotion, right? And that's a common misconception that I found a lot of people share about stoicism. Stoicism is the art of controlling your reaction to the emotions that you have. Okay.
Ooh, I
It-
like that. That's dope, bro.
It's powerful, bro. That's Senka right there, actually.
Damn, I keep interrupting. I'm so bad at this when I catch an idea or I feel.
No, go ahead.
Dude, so one of my rules about being a martial artist
Mm-hmm.
is being in control of your body and your mind
Facts.
in its complete form.
Yes.
So I teach my kids that, like, it's being in control of your mind and your body.
Mhm.
So one of the things that I talk about all the time is like, what are you in control of?
Mhm.
Like in this situation, what are you in control of? And they always like, oh, I don't, you're in control of your reaction to the situation at hand.
Yes.
That's it. You can't help what the other person's doing. You can't help what they're saying. You can't help how they're saying or what they're saying or how they're saying or what they're doing. None of that. The only thing that you are in control of is yourself, your presence to the
Mhm.
situation, your reaction to the situation. Are you going to have a negative reaction or a positive reaction? If every single time your action is negative, there's probably something that you're carrying with you that you need to look
You need to
into
think
and
about,
think
bro.
about.
Yeah.
If your action every single time is to leave or to disappear or to remove yourself, there's probably something causing that too.
Mm-hmm.
If your reaction is like, I should punch this dude in the face, there's some that stems from somewhere.
Right.
And your reaction is the only thing that you are in control of. And you need to understand that emotion and reason cannot occupy the same space.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're emotional about something, you cannot be reasonable about it.
Facts.
So if you're angry and you say some shit like I say sometimes, like I'm never doing this again, or I'll never step foot over or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
then, and it's out of anger, it's not reasonable, but it's emotion.
Yes.
And so that's one of my rules of life is that emotion and reason cannot occupy the same space. So you have to understand when you're emotional, you do not need to make life-changing decisions, altercations,
dude.
or anything like that.
One of the biggest rules that I live my life by is whether I'm happy or if I'm very happy or if I'm very angry, I will not make a choice.
HALT. Do you know what that means? HALT.
Not if it's an acronym, no.
It is an acronym. HALT. You never make life-changing decisions if you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired.
That's true.
HALT. And I started living by that about 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of the biggest changes I made in my life. I quit saying things. I didn't immediately quit, back to what I was saying, but it was one of the things that changed my life is I started thinking about, am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I lonely?
Mhm.
Okay. Am I tired? If the answer is no to them, then I can think about it reasonably and logically
Right.
because emotion is out of the equation.
That's true. That's very accurate, man. And I really like that because it it's very applicable to one of my most commonly accepted life goal perceptions, right? So hear me out. Have you ever heard of the concept of building a castle in the sky?
No.
Okay.
I was fixing to say yes, but the true answer is I've never had any like real true understanding of it.
So whenever people start talking about like a castle in the sky, generally speaking, what they're talking about is the inability to well, let me rephrase this. Setting a goal that you are like a lofty goal, right? Like something that you could never achieve or something that could almost never exist because you can't build a castle in the sky. Realistically speaking, on a cloud or anything like that, you can't. But the beautiful thing about humanity and the level of creativity that all humans are capable of is we have the ability to imagine great things. Look at what you do on a regular basis. And I'm going to plug Jimmy again in his intelligence because if you start thinking about some of the technological things that he's done, like there are legitimate, like you could Google a lot of what he's done and they say, no, you can't do that, right? Jimmy was like, try my gangster homie, right? If you can perceive it, then you can achieve it.
I was legit fixing to say, "Oh, challenge accepted. Castle in the sky, got it."
Exactly.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. Like, this is the beautiful thing about humanity is like there realistically is no castle in the sky, even if someone tells you that it can't happen. There's always the possibility that it can. And before I really go into my description of my castle in the sky and my theory behind it, I want to say this, right? If you knew you could not fail, what would you do?
Ooh, I love that. I've heard that before too.
No, it's a very common thing, but this is something that I've realized that not a lot of people are as hip to the personal development game as I am, right? And that's one of the biggest reasons I started this is because it's a journey I want people to walk on with me.
Dude,
you
that's
know?
amazing. Because the thing is like when you ask them that and they tell you the answer, say go do that.
Exactly.
Because here's the thing, failure is a part of the formula for success. And I teach that. I think I said that to you last time we was on the podcast. I
Yes.
say that shit all the time. And in my class, you'll get tired of hearing me say, where the head goes, the body follows. Where the head goes, the body follows. I say it so much that even like my 5-year-old kids can repeat it back to me.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that a lot of people don't understand it at the level that I understand it.
It's because it gets deep, bro.
It does. It gets so deep, like the understanding of it. Like once you start realizing, like, oh shit, he's talking about when he's underneath somebody.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking about when you're trying to take someone down. He's talking about when you're trying to choke someone. He's talking about the escape. Holy God. Like it's always there.
It is, dude. The head is a great control mechanism. But
But
before we get too
yeah,
far
I wasn't
off
trying to
in-
get into jujitsu.
No.
I was just simply
Dude,
saying
jujitsu goes to all life just as all life can go to jujitsu. So that's my jujitsu plug for the day. But my castle in the sky, and this is my theory and my challenge to people whenever I talk about it, right? So thinking about life in a way that you cannot fail, right? Coming from that perspective, dream up the most ridiculous thing that you possibly can for yourself and be detailed. Know every part of your greatest dream that you want to love like it's the back of your hand and chase after that guy. Chase after it like a relentless, hungry lion that hasn't eaten in a week. And that is where you are going to find like your best work and where you're really going to start doing things because the key to achieving your castle in the sky, there's only one way you can do it. And do you know what that is? When you build your platform to it. So every day when you wake up and in every motion and everything that you do, build towards your castle in the sky. And whether you achieve it in your lifetime or not, I promise you that the view you will see from your platform will be beautiful.
Dude, that goes down to one of the other things, the formula for success that I talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, your daily habits is what is actually building your future.
Yes.
So I tell the kids in my kids class all the time, like, your decisions, ever so small, what shirt you put on, what shoes you wear, what pants you wear, everything is a decision.
Yes.
Not brushing your teeth.
Yes.
Like, you say, oh, I didn't think about it. Well, you wasn't deliberate enough.
Yes.
Like, everything that you do every single day is building your future.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tell people that, when people come to me and say, I want to lose weight. All right, so how long have you been building your body? Well, I'm not. No. The body that you have right now.
How long have you been building that body?
How long have you been building that body? You know, what are you talking about? My body's not built. No, it's built.
It's built like you built it, though.
You built it exactly the way that it is right now. You got to own that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, every decision that you made up until this point, every scar you have, everything, it was because of a decision to get in the car, to ride the bike the way that you was riding a bike, to ride the four-wheeler, or whatever it is that you got that scar from, or whatever. Like, every decision to this point, every scar, you're overweight, you're underweight, you're whatever.
Mm-hmm.
All of that was because of decisions that you made.
Facts.
You may have made them subconsciously. You still made them.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to lose weight, be deliberate. You wanna become the next president or big CEO, or you want to own your own business or whatever. Be deliberate. The small things is what adds up. You wanna get your body in shape. You do not go to the gym for a month and kill yourself. That is not how you get in shape.
No.
How you get in shape is you say, okay, I've never walked to my mailbox. I always drive the car. Today, I'm going to walk to my mailbox. Tomorrow, I'm going to walk to my mailbox. And then you start walking to your mailbox. And then the next day, you say, you know what? I'm going to do 10 push-ups when I get out of bed every day for the rest of my life. If you do that, you're gonna get used to doing 10 push-ups.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to go, man, this is pretty easy. Let's do 20 push-ups.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to go, man, in 2 years, you're going to go, man, I bet I could do probably 50 push-ups.
Yeah.
And then that's going to be part of your routine. My dad, this is a true story. My dad would get drunk every single night. And before he would allow me to go to sleep, he would make me do 100 sit-ups, 100 push-ups, and then he would make me punch the air until my arms was completely tired with 5-pound weights. 5-pound weights, just punch like Taekwondo punches where you twist.
And the really bad kind to do with weights.
Yeah. He would make me do that every night. And then he got to where he would make me hold the weights and put them on the ground and use the weights for my push-ups. Mm-hmm. And then he made me clap in between the push-ups. Push, clap, push, clap. 100 every single night before I would go to bed. He'd get drunk. If I went to sleep without doing it, he'd wake me up and make me do it. He's like, you're being a little bitch. Stop being a bitch. I'm not raising no pussy. You're a Barnett. The world's going to beat you up enough. You need to be tough. Every single day of my life, I had to do 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups before I went to bed, and then punch with fucking weights until my arms gave out, so I couldn't hold the weights anymore.
It's wild, man. I mean,
it made me a fucking monster.
Facts.
When I was 12 years old, I was beating grown men up in a circle, in a homemade circle in front of the liquor store for my dad. Like, that's just how I grew up.
Right.
And people don't understand that. People don't understand, like, the things that you learn through that is, like, I'm going to be honest with you. The first time in my life that I felt like my dad was proud of me, I just knocked out a grown man. I was 12 years old, and I knocked out a guy that was 18 years old. It was the first time I felt like he was proud. And I was like, oh, shit. This is what I got to do to make him proud.
Bro.
You know what I'm saying? And that shit to me was like, oh, shit. So all I got to do is hurt people. Not compete. not do this professionally. No, when I hurt people, he's proud. Do you know what type of person I was until I was like 22 years old?
I'd imagine pretty violent.
Yeah, because you couldn't say your mama jokes. You couldn't play with me that way because that was you disrespecting me. And I'm a Barnett and the world's going to beat me up enough. I need to fuck you up because you just said something to me that was disrespectful and you think you can talk to me that way? I'm a motherfucking Barnett, bitch. And I would fight. And I wouldn't say that. I would, in my heart, it's like, oh, he thinks I'm a bitch. Never said anything. I'll just sit there and then you got close enough, I'd headbutt you in the fucking face. Or I would punch you or take you down or whatever I needed to do at the time.
Right.
And it wasn't until I was, I probably would say 19 years old, a man come into my life named Reggie Sheffield. And he started talking to me about Jesus Christ. He started talking to me about religion and like really like acted like he cared about me in other ways that I had never experienced before.
Right.
And it was different. I had two life-changing moments in my life, and one of them was a guy named Captain Parks. He was of the STAR program, Student Transition and Recovery Program.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
I was in, you know why I was in there?
Mm.
I had backhanded my principal and broke his nose.
What?
Yeah. So not on purpose.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. So I was fighting a kid in the lunchroom because he accused me of stealing his necklace. I didn't snitch on the guy, but his friend across, it was my first day sitting at this table because I had fought the other group for moving my book bag. So I just changed tables when I got back to school.
Yeah.
And now I'm sitting at a different table. And I'm sitting there and the guy left his necklace laying on the table. He got up and went through his trash away with his friend, took his necklace, just playing with him. He wasn't trying to steal his necklace. He was just playing with him.
Mm-hmm.
But I was sitting there beside him.
Mm-hmm.
And he come back. It's my first day at the table. He apparently does this every day. And his necklaces never went missing. So who does he blame? Me.
New guy.
The new guy. And he goes, where's my necklace? And he looks at me. And I said, you probably should talk to your friends about that. That was it. And he said, man, y'all, where's my necklace? And his friend pointed at me like, you should talk to him. And he's like, man, give me my necklace. I do this every day. It's never went missing. You come here, all of a sudden my necklace went missing. And I gave him the benefit of the doubt that day. I said, I'm not a thief. You should talk to your friends. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly how I said it. And he said, bitch, give me my necklace and shove me. We're at the edge of the table, corner of the lunchrooms there. There's a mop bucket in the corner. This dude's got one of these surfer cuts, shaved around the sides. His hair's really long, in a ponytail. Smack him, grab his ponytail, and shove his face in the mop bucket. And I'm holding him in the mop bucket. Water's going everywhere. It's just sloshing everywhere. And I'm trying to drown the kid in a mop bucket.
Jesus Christ, dog.
The coach comes and he grabs me underneath my arms. While he's grabbing me, this kid's coming up. I see this kid to this day in town. He still lives around here.
What?
Yeah. He's like starts coming towards me because I'm being held like this. So I kick him in the face.
Man.
And me and the coach fall into the table.
Mm-hmm.
When he falls, he's trying to get up. He grabs me by my hand. He said, stop. I say, yes, sir. He started it. He grabs me by my hands and puts them behind my back. And he's holding my hands together like this with one hand.
Mm-hmm.
That's how small I was. And he starts grabbing another guy by the back of his arm and carrying us to the principal's office. We get to the principal's office, and they told me that I was going to jail. And just sitting there, he said, you're going to jail. And I said, why? He said, this is the third time you fought, and this is the beginning of the school year. We've already suspended you once. The police are coming to get you to take you to the RYDC. In this office, there's 2 doors. I said, I'm not going to jail, homie. I stood up. I go out the door. As I'm going out the door, the coach tries to grab me. I grab a chair and like wedge it in. It's a metal, like those foldable chairs. I wedge it in between us, like I hit him in his arm so he'd let me go.
Mm-hmm.
And when he lets me go, I make it through the door. The principal grabs my shoulder. I shrug him off my shoulder.
Mm.
Like that. Like, get off of me. My knuckles hit him right across the bridge of his nose. I make it outside. I run down the steps because there's a parking lot down the steps. Run through the Wendy's parking lot, through the Walmart parking lot into a grocery store. And I'm sitting inside the grocery store looking because I knew they were looking for me.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, when you talk about the police force that they used to come get my ass out of that store, they had dude, I'll take you to it when we get off the podcast. It's a van, not a van, but like a box truck that says SWAT on the side of it. It's right outside. It's old as shit now. But you're talking about when I was in high school. It's out there broke down right now. They pull up. There's like fucking 20 officers. And they're talking to me on a bullhorn from outside.
Oh my God.
Do you talk about scared? I'm in 9th grade.
I'm 15 years old and I'm negotiating with the SWAT team right now, bro.
Bro, they were like, Jimmy Barnett, we know you're in there. We have witnesses saying you're in there. If we have to come in there and get you, it's going to be bad.
Some Billy the Kid shit.
He's like, bring your ass outside pretty much. And I'm looking out the door and the manager is sitting there and he puts his hand on my shoulder. That's you? Yes, sir. He said, you probably should go out there. He was like, it's just going to get worse, man. You should go out there. And I'm like, I don't want to go to jail. And he said, what did you do? Got in a fight at school. He said, oh, it ain't going to be that bad. I said, it's my 3rd one. And he goes, yeah? I said, yeah, and I accidentally hit the principal. He said, oh, man, well, you need to face it. So I faced it. I went out there. They threw me down on the ground, put me in handcuffs, took me up to the RY. My mama gets there. She's mad as fuck. Let me tell y'all, my mom has these big rings on her hand.
Mm-hmm.
Like those old school big rings with like little things in them. Yeah. She backhanded me in my face 3 times. Let me tell you what she did to me. Y'all ready for this? How embarrassing is it? You get into a fight in a lunchroom. The kid never touched you, but you got to go back and face everybody with knots all over your fucking head from a ring. That's what my mom did to me.
Yes.
And then I had to tell everybody, no, my mom beat me up.
Win for Mama Barnett.
Yeah. But she's like, you got me up here. Just smacking me. Anyway, so now I'm in trouble. I got to meet Captain Parks. I got to meet him at 4:30 in the morning.
Oh, shit.
And I got to run and do all this other stuff.
That's rough.
I'm like, fuck him. I'm not doing this shit. I'm not doing this. And everybody else was doing what they're supposed to. I'm just leaning up against a wall like, nah.
Get out my face.
I'm not running. Like, are you going to pick me up and run with me? Okay. Like, I'm not running. I'm here.
You can't make me.
Yeah, can't make me run. And he put his hand on my shoulder and he said, man, it's okay. You can be angry. I didn't tell him I was angry. He just put his hand on my shoulder and said, man, it's okay. You can be angry. You can be upset. You can be mad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay. Okay.
Fine. I will be mad, sir.
But he told me that day, he talked to me like an adult. And
gave you that respect.
And then he told me things like, you can do whatever you want to do. Dude, I believe in you. Like, I tell you what, every day I'm going to check on you and see how you're doing. He said, I want you to tell me like something that interests you, that you really want to do. And we're going to make that shit happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just started crying. First time in my life I ever heard somebody tell me they cared for me.
They believed in you, man.
And he told me that.
It's powerful.
He told me that that my stubbornness was a tool and it was going to help me accomplish great things. And a lot of people didn't have it.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And dude, I cried. That dude changed my life, you know, and there's some other stuff that happened. I think I've told that part of the story before on here, but He told me that I was special and that he believed in me. And that dude showed up and checked on me every single morning. He didn't have any other students in the high school.
Mm-hmm.
No reason to drive across town to go to the high school.
Right.
He would come up there, meet me at my locker, and say, "How are you feeling today? You gonna get in trouble today? Do you feel like you can do this today? Do you want to come with me?" And if I ever said I wanted to come with him, he would go over there and say, "Hey, I got something for him to do." And then I would get to lead warm-ups. And the other kids that were in Star that were doing their work, I got to run them. I got to be a leader. I got to be the person that called cadence. I got to be the person that got respect from other people.
Mm-hmm.
And then I could go to school the next day. But that man changed my life. And then the next time I had my life changed was Reggie Sheffield. He introduced me to Jesus, which my grandma always prayed to me and stuff like that when I would come see her. Twice a year I would go see her.
Mm-hmm.
She would read the Bible to me at night before we go to bed. The best times of my life is just waiting for bedtime, waiting for my grandma to stand at the door and read Bible stories to me. But I didn't understand being saved or any of that stuff, or like the Trinity or any of that stuff until Reggie Sheffield came into my life.
Right.
And then that was the second change in my life. And you know how powerful our words are?
Mm.
It took two people. Two people to spend time with me and share their words and their experiences with me and treat me like an adult to change my reality.
And I'll tell you one real quick thing, bro. Like, I talk about it all the time with people now, man. Building like a tribe of mentors, you know, that's so much more than people that are at a higher level than you. That's like people that respect like the hustle and the grind that life takes. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people, they just coast. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, Napoleon.
Comfortable.
Yeah, man. Napoleon Hill calls them drifters. You know, that 90% of this world is just a bunch of drifters. It's people that are running around doing absolutely nothing. You know what I'm saying? They're just day to day, 9 to 5, all this stupid stuff, right? Then you've got the people that are definite in what it is that they do, right? And you'll recognize them whenever you really see them. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the person that's out doing the work, even when they don't think people are watching them and stuff like that. People notice. People see you. They see what you're doing. They see what you're putting out. You know, it might not be the people that need to see it, and might not be the people that you want to see it, but it's the people that see it that are going to be able to, you know, justify what it is that you're doing. And when you see potential in someone, this is why I bring this up. It is anybody that has direction in life, anybody that has real direction in life. When you see potential in somebody, when you see a spark in them that they can be something more than what they're being, it's your responsibility to tell them about that, you know. And I tell people all the time, like, if I see something in them, bro, I tell that person, I'm like, listen, cuz I see something. That's not something I say lightly neither, because if someone's a bum, I'll be the first one to tell you you're a bum.
You're a fucking loser.
Yeah, you're like, you suck. Like, what you're
Me
doing
too.
right now is stupid, man. You know, and I get it. My opinion's not the end all be all, but I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now, there's one thing no one can say to me, and that's that I'm not with the work. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got my hustle, I got my grind, and if you're not with that, then you're not with me, and I don't care, and I'll call you a bum, and I'll tell you what you are, to me at least. And if that doesn't mean crap to you, fine, I don't care. That you're not gonna. That just means you're not gonna affect my life in any way, shape, or form. So go, fine, be gone, Satan.
Yeah.
It-
100%, dude. I love that.
it's a responsibility though, and it's an important one because it does stuff like what you're talking about right now. It changes people's lives. It makes the world of difference, because sometimes it can be like that one word someone says to you that is going to mean the very most. I'll tell you what, there's this girl, Brittany, that I go to school with right now. She's an Army vet. She's cool people. She's a really good chick, right? I started talking to her, and she's opened up to me about some of her problems and whatnot. And I've had a lot of friends kill themselves in the last month, right? That's been a battle of mine. Some of my vet friends.
Wait, let me ask something.
Mm.
Or you just made that statement. Do you take that personal,
What?
friend killing themselves?
Yeah, for sure.
Why?
Because It's like a
Do you feel guilty like you should have reached out or you should have said something or you could have done something different?
no, I feel guilty because I didn't put them in a place in my life where they felt like they could have reached out to me. You know what I'm saying?
So me as a person, I've struggled with that thought and
Right.
that feeling of importance or usefulness. And I really don't care what other people think, but I internalize everything around me. So when stuff isn't working out or like I see failures or like attendance in class, for example.
Right.
If I'm in a negative place and my attendance is low, I internalize it. What am I doing wrong? Why aren't people in my class?
Mhm.
Why aren't people showing up? And it puts me even more in that space.
Right.
And people I've heard people say, "Oh, suicide, it's very selfish and you're leaving the loved ones and stuff like that." I'm like, is it more selfish for them to stay here and be negative and drag others down, or is it more selfish for them to take their own life? No. Like I struggle with that thought process too because like I want to be the light.
Yes.
I want everyone that comes around me to leave feeling better about themselves.
Facts.
The problem is like, where do I go when I'm struggling with being that person? Or do I become a burden to my friends?
Mm-hmm.
Because what if they're not in a place to handle that burden at the moment? What if they're not in a place to handle it and then I'm the reason that they feel like everything's worthless and useless at the moment too? One of the things that I've realized, I think it's bipolar too, is it comes in cycles for me. I have PTSD and it's it's a general anxiety disorder. So GAD or whatever. I have that too. So I stay in a constant flight mode or fight. It's not flight. I don't have flight. I had a test run on me and they couldn't understand why my thought process never said to get away.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because you can't run because of the psychology and stuff that I was raised with. It's never run. Even though I teach my kids, you should run and you should create space and get away.
Right.
I don't have that response. When shit happens, it's like I go towards it.
Right.
And but so I have all of these things and I stay in constant fight mode. So I'm on this hyper awareness. I have all this other stuff. And then like I guess it's like bipolar too. I've never been diagnosed, but there was a discussion and I quit going. But I have really, really high highs.
Yeah.
And I get all kind of shit done.
Yeah.
And I build shit and I make shit happen.
Right.
But then I start feeling these lows and all I can think about is removing myself from the world.
For sure.
And then not only that, I want to tear down and break everything that I built because it's not worth it. It's not good enough. No one cares.
Mm-hmm.
And when people talk about suicide and how selfish it is and stuff like that, I genuinely don't think it has anything to do with others.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think anyone could say anything to me to make me feel better. They could say something and I'm like, yeah, they don't understand. In my mind, that communication thing, right?
Right.
They don't fucking understand me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a bad life.
Mm-hmm.
Like now, I did. I don't have a bad life now. I own a gym. I make pretty good money. I'm trying to build stuff that's not working. Like the podcast isn't growing.
Mm-hmm.
The Coach Jimmy stuff, I started feeling like it was silly. That's why I deleted it all. I'm in a low right now. I was just told about my back injury that I'm never going to be able to really compete or do anything again. They actually told me I would never train again. But I was like, you're retarded. You're not built like me. I literally told the orthopedic surgeon, the first one that I went to, they said, you'll never do that again. You might as well find something else. And I said, what? And they said, yeah, you'll never do that again. I'm like, no, I will as soon as you stop me from having pain. And they said, well, whatever I do, after I do it, if you continue doing that, you're going to be in pain. And I said, well, with all due respect, you're not built like me. We're different. And they told me like, no, you're not understanding. I do this every day, blah blah blah. So I do jujitsu every day. I wrestle every day of my life. My pain tolerance is different from yours. You said it yourself. Most people are already in your office way before I came in here. I've been stretching and doing other things to deal with the pain.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until I got to where I couldn't walk. I had to have someone empty a pee jug for me that I decided to come in here.
Yeah.
And we got a second opinion, and they're giving me other things because they deal with athletes and they understand the psychology behind it.
Right.
But at that point, I've been building something since I was 6 years old. I wanted to be a coach. I wanted to be a grappler. I wanted to be a fighter. I wanted to be able to give people what I got from it. And then someone in 10 words said, you will never do this again in your life or whatever.
For sure.
And it broke me. I've been working my entire life to become this coach, to become this. And now it's being taken away. It's like somebody telling you, you'll never have kids. You're like, it's that detrimental to me. And I'm like, okay, now I don't have anything.
You know, man, in respect to everything that you're saying when it comes to stuff like mindset, how you look at like your highs and lows and stuff like that. When you're at lows, man, being able to accept and recognize those things, that's like the first, for me at least, that was the first step of like growth, right? That I was able to take because when I started realizing I was depressed is when me and my ex-wife split up, right? That's when I realized, like, really started to come to terms with the fact and be able to recognize that, like, I was going through these
It's
systems
hard
of
too.
highs and lows.
It's hard to recognize too.
The thing is, the thing that's the hardest about it is because most people, when they start hearing about like depression and stuff like that, they don't ever think that they have it. By the way, most people are depressed and they don't know it. I want to like lead off with that, and that I hope that that's a bit of a mind opening thing for you, right? But my mother's actually the one that convinced me that I was like depressed and that I needed to seek help, and I just started to need to see like a counselor and stuff like that.
Does that
right?
help you?
Seeing a counselor. So I'm super inconsistent with speaking with anybody, right? Can honestly tell you that the vast majority of the best knowledge that I found by myself.
Same.
Counselors, there are really good counselors out there. There are really good people. One, if you're in the southeastern Georgia area, Anchored in Wellness in Jessup, Georgia, they do outstanding work. Like they've really helped a lot of people. They've like really tried to make connections with people, and the therapists that they have there are really going to try to make you better. There are a lot of places out there, I've spoken on this channel before, that will literally just like stuff you with chemical cocktails until you start feeling better. And there's science behind that. There's legitimate science, but the thing is it's not an exact science. It's a game that they're playing with your hormones to try to make you feel better. But this is the thing that I've come to realize the most. And that's that if you're really depressed, go do work for other people. Go do free work for other people. Go give to your community. Go give yourself to people if you're depressed. I don't care if you go looking like shit. You can go in PJs. You can go in a bro tank with a gold chain. I don't care, but go help people. Go give your gifts to the world, because there's no more fulfilling feeling in this world than when you connect with the community around you and you make it better. Because as a human race, my guys and girls out there, we are only ever going to be the accumulation of the best of us. And I say that because I really want you to think of it, right? From the beginning of recorded history until right now, we are the sum total of the best ideas and the most winning ideas. And I say those two things together to be very specific, because some of that is perceived as good in this world is evil. Some of the things that are in this world are good, but some of the things that are perceived as good are evil. And it's very important to make the distinction yourself to what is good and evil. This is why I always tell people that I try to walk with the highest vibrations physically possible. And when I say that, I say it in the respect of I am accepting of all things that I can be. And I try to see from the perception and the perspective of everyone that I am talking to. Those are two things that are very important to me, and that I do not meet anything with anger anymore. Because when I meet things with anger is when things are destroyed, right? I'm going to be super vulnerable and bring up a really like huge point of growth for me, right? When me and my ex-wife split up, man, I hated her. God, did I hate her. And I wanted to do everything I could to break her, but I made it a point to myself to not do anything to interfere in her life anymore. No matter how much fire I had, no matter how much ammunition I had to do the things that I wanted to do to dismantle her life, I never used a single thing that I had to destroy her. And I let her life unravel the way it would. My mother used to tell me all the time, and I'm not saying anything bad about my mother. She's just a mom trying to protect the health of her child. And she could see that my mental health was in a declining state. She wanted me to use the things that I had to attack. And I kept telling myself, no, I can't be that person. I won't be that person. Right.
You know what's funny about that?
Mm.
A lot of people don't have the mental strength to not listen to the people around them.
It's tough.
That's why
It's tough.
that is why most people aren't successful. Because the circle that they've created on their come up, or the circle that they had in school, is stuck in the same ideas that that was taught to them.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to be a successful entrepreneur, the first thing that you have to do is understand that certain things are not the way that you learn them.
Facts.
And certain things, the way that you see them and heard them your entire life is wrong. Like I heard grow up, go to college, get a degree,
Mm-hmm.
get a good job, and take care of your family. That is
Yep.
not the way.
No.
Live life and learn your lessons. Be dope and earn your blessings.
I blank out and everybody, wait, when I come to, everybody's dead. There's just bodies everywhere. That